remember the last time that I worked a full day from the UNSW office so clearly. Me and our team of startup supporters were reeling from the news across Australia and the world, feeling unprecedented anxiety about how to make our programs more effective, to make the best decisions possible with the information we had about the effects of the rapidly spreading COVID-19 pandemic. We had three main problems to solve for the newly selected founders of the 2020 Health 10X cohort. How were we meant to kick off a supportive cohort of the best health innovators in Australia when we couldn't even bring them together? How are we to inspire our cohort to explore and understand the needs of underserved or emerging markets when many of us couldn't even leave our homes? This one perhaps was the most tricky. With our program being focused exclusively on non-communicable diseases, would that lose relevance in a global climate where community spread of one specific disease was front page news across the world? Are non-communicable diseases even still relevant? Looking back on the work since this unprecedented disruption of the world, I'm very proud of what the Health 10X program team has been able to achieve and what our founders have done so far. To bring together a supportive cohort of the best health innovators in Australia, we shifted everything online. Last year, we took our inaugural Health 10X cohort to India to explore market and collaboration opportunities with tremendous help from the George Institute for Global Health, India. We even hosted this very event, the Health 10X India Pitch Night, watching the sunset over the rooftops of bustling New Delhi. So to inspire our cohort to explore and understand the needs of underserved or emerging markets, this year, without ever leaving home, the Health 10X cohort experienced the Indian medical innovation ecosystem through a 3-day immersive, which was all delivered digitally. It included expert speakers, virtual tours to primary healthcare centres, and even culminated with a virtual cooking class. And using digital application platforms, we were still able to call out for outstanding early-stage Indian medtech innovators and startups to showcase their work, highlight its importance, and to make global connections here in Australia. Good evening to our guests in Australia, and good afternoon to those tuning in from India. My name is Tash Jamison, and I'm the Global Founders Program Manager here at UNSW Founders. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this digital event this evening, where you'll meet some of the best early-stage medtech startups from both Australia and India. I would like to start by acknowledging the Bedegal people of the Eora Nation, where I currently stand, and all traditional custodians of the land on which we meet, and pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. As mentioned earlier, we held this exact same event in Delhi, India last year. And while we're obviously very sad we cannot be there together in person, we're exceptionally grateful to everyone who helped make this digital event possible. In particular, my thanks goes out to Dr. Uman John and the George Institute for Global Health India, the team at UNSW India, the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, and the High Commission in Delhi, of course our friends at the Australia-India Business Council, TIE New Delhi, Invest India, and of course the whole team here at UNSW Founders and the George Institute for Global Health. So here's how tonight's going to work. The 9 teams will present their 3-minute pitch. The judges who questioned the teams earlier this week will then announce the winner of the $5,000 Judges Award. This award was only open to our friends in India, so sorry Health 10X teams. Tonight's esteemed judges are Varun Javeri from the Indian National Health Authority, Dr. Krishna Chaitanya from Andhra Pradesh MedTech Zone, and Ishani Chattopadhyay from New South Wales Government and Fusion Labs Going Global program. They have selected the winner based on the following criteria, including: does their solution address a non-communicable disease? Is it scalable to emerging markets? And does the team have the right mix of skills, knowledge, and experience to execute? And tonight, you, the audience, will also get the chance to be a judge. You're all invited to be part of the action voting for the People's Choice Award worth 1,000 Australian dollars. This is open to all teams pitching tonight. If you need to rush off this evening and would like to be connected to any of the founders who are presenting, please fill in this form, which has now been dropped into the chat, and we will connect you in the next few days. Throughout tonight's pitches, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. We will have them answered live later this evening during the Q&A session with our founders. This is after the formalities have finished. So let's get into it. The first 4 pitches this evening will be 4eyes, AI Health Highway, 23 Strands, and Artilis.
1 billion people worldwide are visually impaired simply because they lack access to glasses. Uncorrected refractive error refers to blurred vision which can be improved with glasses, and it is the leading cause of poor vision worldwide, affecting over 1 billion people, 90% of whom live in remote and developing communities. The annual cost of this problem is $427 billion, and this doesn't account for the psychosocial burden of poor vision. I realized this problem firsthand when I was working in Giza in the Solomon Islands a few years ago. I noticed that no one was wearing glasses, and in the low-resource eye clinics where I worked, there wasn't much in the way of medical or surgical treatment, but I did see that most people could have their vision improved if they had access to glasses. So why didn't they? There was no one to test them for glasses. It was too far to travel if they did want to get a test in the capital, Honiara. And it was too expensive to get the glasses even if they managed to get there. So I invented the 4eyes Vision Kit, which contains everything a layperson can need to test for and dispense customized, affordable spectacles on the spot. It contains a simplified testing wheel for which we have a provisional patent. The whole kit itself is simple, inexpensive, and transportable. It contains stainless steel adjustable spectacle frames and a wide range of lenses, including toric lenses, which can correct astigmatism. It contains a mobile application, which is available offline, with simple visual instructions to conduct the testing and dispensing. It enables audit of results and enables us to monitor the performance of testers. It tracks inventory and facilitates distribution. The de-identified data is very useful in healthcare planning and resource allocation. But does the system work? The answer is a resounding yes. In Hanua Bata village in February this year, over 3 days, we trained 6 local people to test for and dispense customized glasses. They dispensed 200 pairs of glasses in this time, and in a follow-up study, 98% of people who got the glasses gave it the highest rating for improvement, not only in their vision, but in their quality of life. Our business model is one of franchising. We license the 4eyes Vision Kit to charities, NGOs, government authorities, and individual entrepreneurs. The cost of the glasses is about $5, and we sell them for $10. And this system is financially sustainable through a higher margin for premium finishes and various accessories, the sale of spectacle frames in Australia, New Zealand, and other developed countries, so-called, and through philanthropic donations through our 4eyes Foundation. We need your support. We have projects coming up in Timor-Leste, Fiji, and remote Australia, and we plan to partner with groups in India, including the Healing Fields Foundation. We're about to scale up to manufacture, and the future is very exciting. Please join us to make the world a better looking world. Thank you.
AISTETH, our first product, is a smart stethoscope which can screen, detect, and predict cardiorespiratory disorders. So, traditional stethoscope, we just could listen to the heart sounds. Now you can see the power of visualization here. Cardiorespiratory disorders are the world's #1 killer, And if you look at India scenario, there are roughly 4 billion OPD visits which happen. We just have 4,000 cardiologists, whereas the need is for 88,000. And most of the current cardiology screening landscape involves ECG, echo, and angio, which are all available in the hospitals. And that's where we see the mismatch, and it's a huge missed opportunity at the OPD. AI Steth has got device data and intelligence. It's a hardware which picks up the heart and lung sounds, streams it via Bluetooth to a companion app, and this is where you see the power of visualization. We are bringing AI to cardiology screening. This is how a normal heartbeat looks like, and these are just two examples of how the abnormal disorders look like. The traditional stethoscope, you could just listen, but in AI Steth, you could also see the heart signature patterns for each of the abnormalities. All these days, auscultation was a subjective finding, but we are bringing in objectivity because we give a tangible report. And the most significant advantage is you can record, store, and share these heart and lung sounds from the village or the primary care clinic to any part of the world. So this is bringing cardiology screening anywhere. Paradigm shift to the healthcare ecosystem. The screening gets shifted from hospital to the OPD. And by adding in visualization, we cut short the learning curve. And by bringing in data, we kind of introduce objectivity. The stethoscope market is close to 1 billion, but when you add the power of AI ML, I think it is 10x more. Just to give an example, in India alone, you have about 70,000 medical graduates passing out every year. And when you add the nurses and the other allied healthcare professionals, we are easily looking at 2 lakh graduates who pass out every year. And that's when the first purchase of a stethoscope, where India is planning 1.5 lakh health and wellness centers. All these days, you have data from hospitals only. But if you start having these data collected from each and every primary care clinic, that's when you can bring the power of predictive analytics. What are the use cases? Especially, it's important even during COVID, adult cardiology. Basically, any patient who has chronic heart conditions, he can self-auscultate and stream the heart and lung sounds to a specialist in a remote place. Imagine the power of AI Steth when it is in the hands of a midwife or ASHA worker, who is a critical last mile connectivity element when she does the antenatal visits, and if she can record the heart sounds of both the mother and fetus. So, I'm a physician, was practicing in the Indian Army, and this is my third startup. Dr. Krishna, my colleague, is from the public health and clinical research background from US. Anuj takes care of our full stack and data architecture. Shailesh handles the R&D and ML. And we have a great team of mentors in the form of Professor Prashanta from Indian Institute of Science, Peter Peterson, who's the CEO of Sounder, and Bjorn Nord Anderson, who's like a research expert, has the research expertise.
Twenty-three Strands is unlocking the power of human DNA. We provide whole of lifetime clinical genomics, and out of a simple blood sample, we can give you a personalized understanding of disease risk and medications, reducing the need for trial and error. Hello, my name is Mark Grosser, CEO of 23 Strands, and I'd like to introduce you to what we as a team are doing in the area of personalized lifetime medicine. Our team of experts across data engineering, application development, data science, and clinical expertise are leading the way. We link human DNA with other medical records to deliver unique insights into improved treatment and diagnostic pathways. We are providing real-world care to patients. Imagine the middle-aged coronary artery disease patient who has recently been discharged from hospital, trying to work out which complex cocktail of recovery drugs will work best for them. We are bringing to the world a unique method of personalized care, integrating the full 3 billion base pairs of human DNA with diagnostic imaging, electronic medical records, and other diagnostic pathology data to help patients and their carers. We start by empowering our doctors first with a new set of information to help them make better decisions on behalf of the patients. Based on our research, we believe we can help over 90,000 cardiovascular patients in Australia per year who are having problems with their cardiovascular disease management and can afford an additional lifetime-based diagnostic such as this. Our natural next market target, Asia, is over 10 times this size, and we are confident we can help all of these patients. In parallel to this user pay model, there are two more areas we're currently also exploring for revenue growth. The first is supporting research funded by governments, pharmaceutical, and other medical companies. And the second is platform licensing of our technology. We've had some recent proof of traction with a successful ethics application on COVID-19 at Liverpool Hospital, one of Australia's largest hospitals, and the acceptance of our first journal article into an international journal of computer science on the topic of extracting scientific levels of evidence from raw scientific journal articles. We would really love your assistance in the next phase of our development, moving from first prototypes into commercial clinical use, finalizing the build of our online clinical pathway platform, optimizing the use of artificial intelligence and machine learning in disease risk stratification, and continuing to deliver on-demand genomics-empowered clinical reports. Thank you very much for your time.
This is Muzammil Qazi. He curiously walked into one of our eye screening camp unaware of any health issues. He was diagnosed with diabetic retinopathy within minutes with a simple eye exam using our AI solution. Like him, there are thousands of people diagnosed for retinopathy in our camps who are completely unaware of chronic conditions that could lead to permanent blindness.
Chronic diseases and its complications leading to increased treatment cost at later stages. Two of the leading chronic diseases are directly or indirectly correlated with the complications of retina. If not caught early and treated, leads to irreversible blindness. Current backlog is 100 million people affected with glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy, and other retinal problems. Of them, 22 million people could be from below the poverty line, and the treatment cost will be inevitable at some point in the next 10 years. The cost that will be incurred by the current Ayushman Bharat PMJ health benefit package for the treatment of retinal complications alone could be anywhere between 3,300 crores to 40,000 crores.
To make things worse, there is a large patient-physician gap. How do we address this? We created a state-of-the-art point-of-care solution and introduced a channel for early intervention to significantly reduce the treatment cost. Our product is at Technology Readiness Level 9 and CE marked. Our AI solution can identify all retinal complications with a simple eye exam in less than 10 minutes, thus saving valuable time of the already overburdened specialists. A made-in-India solution that is portable and available offline to increase accessibility in remote areas, and anyone can be trained to operate in less than 30 minutes.
Our team consists of doctors, physicians, AI and data science experts, and entrepreneurs from renowned universities like Carnegie Mellon and IIT. We also have a strong marketing and sales professionals from the healthcare industry. We have a scientific committee with the technical and medical expertise from across the world who bring valuable insights to our R&D and product innovations. Our product is highly scalable and implementation is simple as it is a plug-and-play device. And with one installation, it can be scaled for multiple users and locations. A portable solution to penetrate remote areas and reduce the travel and infrastructure cost. We will land and expand since we offer our solution as a SaaS model. One-time installation will generate new revenue for every new pathology we bring into the market from our labs. Since we are already CE marked and approved, regulatory barriers have been overcome, and we are in the process of registering our product with the CDSCO. Since we are hardware agnostic, we can and we have integrated with various hardware vendors and seamlessly integrated our solution.
Our projections call for an exponential growth in revenue over the next 5 years, and this is based on global screening numbers. Our business model is a pay-per-patient screened and bulk licensing. We have screened over 80,000 people, covering 442 locations, 60 installations across India, and 6 global distributors. We have a good mix of customers from ophthalmology, diabetic specialty, and GP clinics.
We have been capital efficient. We have booked a revenue of $350,000 in the last 2 years.
With all these developments, we still ask ourselves, so what? What is our impact on economy? Estimated cost of leading chronic diseases for India is staggering $6.2 trillion for the period between 2012 to 2030. And we will save anywhere between 3,300 crores to 40,000 crores for people covered under Ayushman Bharat PMJ for treatment of retinal complications alone. What is our impact in bridging the patient-physician gap? Our solution can help effectively utilize specialists' time in treatment of qualified patients rather than screening. What is our impact to the people? Address the 3 A's by making it affordable, accessible, and creating awareness and early intervention in better management of chronic conditions.
Thank you to the first 4 teams. I'm so inspired. Before we continue, I'd like to invite a very important guest to make some short remarks about the importance of innovation and collaboration between Australia and India within medtech and more. Please welcome the Honourable Barry O'Farrell, Australia's High Commissioner to India, to deliver a short address.
Good evening, budding entrepreneurs and friends of the Australia-India relationship. It's my great pleasure to deliver these remarks from New Delhi. I want to start my remarks with a couple of comments. Firstly, I hope some of you got to use the light rail to get here this evening, one of my favourite public transport projects in Sydney. Secondly, I want to start with a couple of cliches. It used to be said that Australians discovered India once every 20 years or so, and that the relationship between our countries was based on the 3 C's of cricket, curry and Commonwealth. I've taken up my post here in New Delhi at a time when the bilateral relationship is growing with a strength and a depth far beyond those tired cliches. The partnership is forging ahead, underpinned by common values and complementary strategic and economic interests. At the most fundamental level, Australia and India are both liberal democracies who share a commitment to the rule of law, fundamental human rights, and the peaceful resolution of disputes. The virtual summit in June between Prime Ministers Modi and Morrison has added impetus to an already deepening relationship. We elevated our ties to the level of a comprehensive strategic partnership and signed a slew of high-impact agreements designed to further deepen strategic and economic cooperation. We're working together to build regional institutions. We see the world on an increasingly similar terms, and we see each other as the kind of partner and friend we need. It's not an exaggeration to say Australia and India ties are at historic highs. And it's important to recognise that our close people-to-people ties, from the Indian diaspora in Australia to our education and cultural linkages, are the glue that binds the relationship. Today, 1 in every 35 Australians is of Indian origin. Prior to COVID-19, Indian migrants to Australia was set to emerge as our 2nd largest migrant community behind the British. Hindi and Punjabi have made it to the top 10 most widely spoken languages in Australia. As highly skilled, entrepreneurial and vibrantly diverse, Indian Australians are now a prominent and positive feature of Australia's social, political and economic landscape. And education is the backbone of this relationship, and India was the 2nd largest source of overseas students in Australia, and pre-COVID, one of the fastest growing groups, accounting for 15% of international students in Australia. COVID-19 has dealt us all a blow, to be sure, but as we come to grips with this virulent virus, Australia looks forward to welcoming back its overseas students with open arms. The healthcare sector was identified as a priority area for engagement in Australia's India economic strategy, and there's lots of space to collaborate. The challenge of COVID-19 aside, the demand in the Indian health sector will continue to outstrip India's domestic supply capabilities for the foreseeable future. Technological and structural changes, together with the rise of non-communicable diseases, will continue to radically transform how India delivers healthcare. For instance, it's driven innovation in the field of telehealth services. The Australian government is currently supporting technology-driven primary healthcare delivery model in India, helping improve access to preventative and curative healthcare. There is huge scope to develop the innovative delivery of these kinds of services, not just in India, but everywhere, including Australia. Changes in Australian domestic legislation prompted by COVID-19 have allowed telehealth services to be covered by Medicare, and this has presented the opportunity for these online platforms to be used more extensively in Australia. These services have especially assisted Australia's more isolated rural communities. Australia will continue to take forward its government-to-government cooperation with India through our MOU on health and medical cooperation. This cooperation extends to progress collaboration in vaccine research and development and joint pharmaceutical opportunities. A meeting between health ministers earlier this year added further momentum to the relationship. I'm pleased to see the growth in a number of university arrangements to undertake joint PhD supervision, joint research, and student and faculty exchanges. The Australia-India Strategic Research Fund supports scientists in India and Australia to collaborate on leading-edge research. To date, the Australian government's committed in excess of $85 million over 16 years to the initiative that was established in 2006. Australia's partnership with India is already strong, but the potential for further growth is truly exciting. There are good reasons to think that this upswing in the bilateral relationship will be enduring. The key role played by entrepreneurs like you in responding to crises, solving difficult problems, and driving innovation in our economies is set to endure. As we consider the impact of COVID-19 on our community and our pathway back, it's my view that Australia and India will play an essential role in responding to the health crisis and the wider impacts for our nations. I wish you all the very best of luck in your pitches and to your futures as successful entrepreneurs and pioneers in the healthcare field. And I hope you continue to value the Australia-India relationship. Thank you.
Thank you so much, High Commissioner O'Farrell. And now on to our final 5 teams. We'll be hearing from Docterio, Radiate, Movie, Wafer Chips Technology, and Walking Tall Health.
Hello, this is Rizwan, co-founder of Docterio. Our mission is to simplify and transform doctor-patient healthcare experience using state-of-the-art technology. Did you know that 75% of the population in Bangladesh do not have access to proper healthcare services? There are 1,800 patients for only one doctor. On average, it takes around 2 days to book an appointment with 75 minutes delay time during consultations. Everything is done on pen and paper with no proper electronic health records, leading to a lot of misdiagnosis. Thus, non-communicable diseases cause 61% of deaths in Bangladesh, and therefore Docterio's mission is to bring that figure down. To tackle this problem, Docterio has built a web app to provide telehealth services. Using this, patients get to book appointments instantly, and the proper scheduling system eliminates the wait time. As it is a B2B business model, we charge monthly subscription fee to private clinics and hospitals, and that way doctors and patients won't have to pay for our services. The recurring revenue from this gives us more visibility and provides financial discipline. There are over 23,000 private hospitals and clinics all over Bangladesh, and giving us a TAM size of 175 million Australian dollars, with a SOM size in the Dhaka city of 1.8 million Australian dollars. There are other similar markets in Southeast Asian region, and due to COVID-19, the market growth has accelerated. Since our inception, we have onboarded 4 hospitals. In addition to over 2,500 followers on social media accounts, we have partnered with Jago Foundation, which is one of the largest NGOs in Bangladesh. This is Ahmedul Kabir, our very first client. He owns a hospital with registered doctors, but used to lack digital infrastructure. There are over 7,300 Ahmedul Kabirs in Dhaka city alone. Based on the industry analysis, Docterio is both affordable and scalable. We do not have doctors on our payroll, and this gives us access to a plethora of doctors. Hence, this gives us complete control over our value chain. The table lists some of the features of Docterio that our competitors don't provide, and our in-house capabilities helps to keep the costs down. Our affiliation include UNSW Health 10X Accelerator Program, associated with George Institute, where Docterio was chosen as one of the 5 startups to participate this year. Moreover, Docterio is currently raising 200 to 250,000 Australian dollars in pre-seed funding and advises to the board with experience or connections in the healthcare industry in Bangladesh. These are the handsome faces behind Docterio. our CTO Waqif, with over 2 years of experience in software development and product management, Abrar, our COO, having over 3 years of experience in sales and management, and I, Rizwan, the CEO, having over 2 years of experience in raising capital for social enterprises. And at the last but not the least, our board of advisors provide the necessary tools across various fields to help us grow. This not only makes us just a platform, but helps to redefine the healthcare infrastructure in Bangladesh. Thank you.
We at Radiate present world's most advanced and scalable glaucoma screening platform. Highlight of us, we're accelerated by MedTech Actuator Australia, apart from other institutions in India. We've also received social grant funding from Cisco and Pernod Ricard Foundation. The founding team consists of a business graduate who has Fortune 500 medical devices company work experience, a doctor with 10,000 plus surgeries and serial innovation being used by 500 plus doctors in India, and finally a technology lover who has expertise over robotics and AI. Our problem is very simple. Glaucoma is the number one cause of irreversible blindness in the adult working population. In India, 50% of the people who went blind because of glaucoma did not even know they had this disease. Glaucoma affects 70 million people right now and will affect close to 112 million people by 2040. The current diagnostic gold standard for glaucoma is a 3D scanning machine called as OCT machine and a visual field test. All these machines are very costly, super bulky and non-portable. This is where we wish to make an impact. Air OCT by Radiate. Gentlemen, the next big hardware innovation is going to be a software breakthrough. We are able to predict depth and thickness, OCT level biomarkers from a 2D fundus image machine. OCT machine will cost around $100,000 and a portable small fundus machine costs around $10,000. Apart from this, we are producing a virtual reality headset based visual field examination. This would be ultra portable, cost effective. Both these machines would be 1/10 of the existing gold standards, best suited for upcoming geographies and developing countries. Not just a simple yes or no black box AI, we present a visual PDF report generated by AI through 6+ proprietary biomarkers. Doctors are able to understand and explain to the patients much better about their eye care health. The target market is very simple. There are more than 100 million scans required every year in India, with just 70 million diabetics and 80 million pre-diabetics. WHO recommends everyone to undergo an eye test for glaucoma above 40 years. But just focusing on diabetics and geriatrics who have much higher propensity to have this disease, the market is massive, and this is where we wish to start. At the end, we would like to say that vision is one of the best gifts from God. Lack of resources should never be the reason it is taken away from some. This is what gets us out of bed and inspires us to do something every day. Thank you.
Namaste. Every 1 second, a vulnerable patient is infected. Every 3 minutes, vulnerable patients die from a healthcare acquired infection. That's 1 in 10 patients infected. So what if you're patient number 10? According to World Health Organization, 700 deaths a year from infections that are preventable. Infection burden to international healthcare system, $60 billion in lost bed days. Welcome to 2020, the year of contaminated surfaces and air. Reason: human cleaning error is one of the main cause of contaminated surfaces and hospital-acquired infection. Cleaners, nurses rely on old manual practices, wiping down equipment manually. What gets clean or missed or what remains contaminated is often unknown. Today, hospital cannot tell what equipment is contaminated or disinfected. We are Movie. So Movie is our first clinical proven UV light technology that rapidly disinfect highlighter surfaces and mobile medical equipment. Put Movie into a patient room and is as less as 10 minutes the environment is disinfected, reducing human error. Our game changer is Movie sensor that can be attached to portable medical equipment, IV poles, beds. MovieSense is a novel and patent-pending disinfection sensor that detects whether a surface is disinfected and provides real-time visibility to managers. MovieU Lite kills pathogens and wireless sensor registers the data to cloud dashboard. Our primary market include high-risk areas such as ICU, theater, dialysis, emergency and neonatal unit. Movie competitors are chemicals and human labor wiping surfaces. UV competitors do exist, but those cost around 100,000 per unit. The global disinfection market is pretty active, with over 32,000 hospitals globally, and in India there are more than 37,000 hospitals for our IT disinfection sensor network. We have a positive traction and we are hoping to acquire customers globally. We are soon doing our trial testing for our IT sensor and have a positive cash flow in quarter for 2020. Meet Movie team. Our killer team is agile, gritty and passionate with over 25 years of experience in different fields with range of advisors and consultants. Now this is a snapshot of Movie, how Movie has evolved as a startup from January. We have accelerated our growth, right from sending our technology to one hospitals and then part of Global Hackathon, world's largest COVID hackathon finalist, and part of now Founders Accelerator program, which has been collaborated with TGI, Sydney and India. Our ask is simple: connect us to your network and help us to get international strategic partnerships in India. Join us at Movie to save and shine a bright light on Superbugs to reduce 1 in 10 infections and help high-risk vulnerable patients globally. Thank you. Dhanyawad.
Myself Sonia Mohandas, co-founder and CEO of WaferChips Techno Solutions Private Limited. 3 years before, one of my personal incident gave us an insight about Indian cardiac care system, and that motivated us to resign our jobs to start WaferChips Techno Solutions. The problem we are addressing is that for patients with asymptomatic symptoms like syncope, palpitation, dizziness, etc., may be affected by cardiac rhythm abnormalities, and they need to be continuously monitored for a duration based on the symptom frequency of the patient. But our traditional solutions like Holters and even recorders mostly fail to do this because of short duration of monitoring period, high cost and poor patient compliance. 70.3% of the symptomatic arrhythmia could be missed with 24-hour monitoring. Abnormalities of cardiac rhythm are prevalent in community-dwelling adults, affecting greater than 2% of individuals. We are trying to fill this gap in the cardiology segment. BioCalculus is a small, discrete, comfortable patch which can be used during your normal day-to-day activity while it records every single heartbeat for analysis. BioCalculus helps clinicians to procure and analyze the cardiac rhythm abnormalities outside the clinical environment. It will take the pressure of clinicians and patients while enhancing patient care to masses. The value proposition of our product is that it offers sustained monitoring of consistent ECG data with minimal artifacts and is specifically designed and optimized for clinicians who need to improve their diagnostic yield. We are replacing the 3-channel one-day monitoring with 1-channel long-term monitoring in a convenient and easy way. Our proprietary AI algorithm analyzes the data in our cloud and will generate a verified report for the patient's clinician. Because of its affordability, we are positioning our device as a biosieve for the bottom of pyramid. Our customers will be consultant cardiologists, electrophysiologists, GP, both in hospital and private practitioner. Our addressable market size is $4.3 billion in India alone, in which we are intended to address the $72 million market share. The rhythm monitoring CAGR growth is 6.8%, and primarily we are focusing India, Australia, Africa and Middle East markets. We are shifting the traditional CAPEX model of operation to OPEX model, which is aligned with the UN SDG goal. Business strategy is B2B2C, that is through hospitals to early symptom cardiac patients. We are following pay-per-use model with $10 per patient per day. We have completed engineering validation and 2 clinical trials so far and now in the process of HIPAA and CE. Now we have our presence in 2 Indian states and delivered around 100 devices and doing analytics of 10 patients per day. Vitus 24 and rehabilitation are our pipeline products. We have collaborated with Bharat Petroleum, Kerala Startup Mission, InQ Global and Capgemini. We have a well-reputed advisory board which includes Padma Shri Dr. K.M. Cherian and Dr. Rajan Joseph Manuran, both emeritus professors of cardiology, Dr. Sujay Ranga, interventional cardiologist, Harikrishna and Aditya Bharadwaj. Myself, Sonia, is the CEO and my partner Archu S. Vijay is the CTO and we are the promoters. I have the expertise in business development. Mr. Archu is a social entrepreneur with 10 plus years of industrial experience He has expertise in product management and development. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Matt Brody, neuroscientist, engineer, and founder of Walking Tall Health. 2 years before my dad passed away, his walking became a shuffling gait. This inspired my treatment of accelerated aging and neurological disease. Over 100 million people live with movement disorders, including Parkinson's disease. They suffer tremor, freezing of gait, and catastrophic falls. There is currently no cure. The top 4 treatments are wheelchairs, walking frames, medication, and deep brain stimulation. These treatments can have negative health impacts, and some are downright dangerous. In 2018, I made a breakthrough discovery. Our patented medical device detects and overcomes movement disorders. This is Bob. See the left video. Bob's doctors have given up. They told him he was old and had Parkinson's. Bob falls, and I catch him. Bob cannot walk well. See the right video. Bob walks much better with our patented medical device. Bob is a changed man. This is Larissa. She suffers from dystonia, rigid gait, and constant tremors. On the left, we observe foot drop, vaulting, asymmetric gait, little arm movement, and a rigid upper body. See the right video. With our patented medical device, Larissa experiences immediate improvement. For the first time in years, Larissa experiences hope. Clinically significant results include a 19% increase in walking speed and 32% decrease in gait instability. Amazingly, after 4 weeks' use, improvements persisted, and we observed a 62% reduction in falls. My world-leading team includes Bridget Martin, COO, David Lester, Pfizer, Nigel Lovell, Bionic Eye Project, Victor Fung, neurologist and director of movement disorders, and Paulo Bonato, Harvard Medical School. Market traction is demonstrated by unsolicited demand and national media endorsements. Our customers tell us they are willing to pay over $5,000 for our device. All going well, this projects to a $100 million gross profit by year 5. In 2021, we will finish a large clinical trial funded by the Michael J. Fox Foundation. Your investment now means in 2021, we can launch our Class 2A regulatory compliant medical device. Deliverables include matching funding from New South Wales Medical Device Fund, 2 full patents, and exponential sales growth. Finally, in the words of our customers, once I realized that I didn't need to concentrate on every single step, I could feel the breeze on my face and look up and see the beautiful green trees and blue sky. Your investment brings hope to over 100 million people.
So that brings us to the end of our 9 pitches. Before we announce the winner of our Judges' Choice Award, it's now time for your participation in the People's Choice Award. You can find this poll to the left of your screen. Please vote now. You have 1 minute until the voting ends. Congratulations to our People's Choice winner. Thank you all for your votes, which you can see in the poll section. We will also announce the winner in the chat feed. So now, the moment we've all been waiting for, Which Indian team is going to take out the cash prize of $5,000? But first, a word from our judges.
So it's nice to see all the pitches, and it's already a good lot of work going on among these 4 pitches we have seen. And we have been judging it, looking from point of view of the hardware part of it, and the software part of it, and the regulatory clearances, and how best they can scale up and how fast they come to the market. So looking at these, all the 4 pitches, and it's been very difficult to zero down onto it. But considering finally who is the one winner, we have to do that. So looking at how fast they can get regulatory clearances, possibly we have to zero onto one of them, which will be revealed on 7th.
So it was fantastic to hear from all 4 companies. What really stuck out is the relevance of the problem that they were solving. And each of those problems are immense in itself and highly, highly inspirational. At the end, they're going to impact many, many lives and save lives. I think the key next steps are always managing the growth. How do you manage that growth? Do you go deeper in your country? Do you expand to other shores and let the numbers do the telling? Don't grow too fast. Grow at a pace that you can manage and continue to impact lives.
I think, all of us as a group, we were really impressed by the type of work that this particular entity is doing. Ranging from the type of clinical efficiency, the type of successful clinical results that it has displayed, along with that, the type of commercial success, especially within the clinician community that it has got, the type of partnerships, the type of vision, and the business model that it exhibits. We see that, there is good opportunity for this innovation to scale and successfully become one of the very successful healthcare innovation. So I think, these were some of the parameters that we thought were really helpful in judging this particular entity and making this as the most successful of all. And from all the innovations, the winner of Judges' Choice Award for this particular competition is Artiolus.
Once again, well done Dr. Rajajeshwari and the team at Artiolus. And that brings us to the close of the formal part of the event. Once again, thank you to all of our stakeholders who have made this event possible. Even though our borders are still closed, I'm so grateful we've been able to have this virtual experience together. We'd now like to invite you to the Q&A booth. You'll find that in the expo session of Hopin, where you can ask our founders questions about their products, or alternatively, feel free to connect individually in one-on-one networking. We'll see you soon.